Hi, YouTube fam. I am Angeline, the nursing assistant. Today we'll be discussing burnout, the signs and symptoms. A caregiver with burnout is overwhelmed, physical and emotional and mentally exhausted from the stress and burden of taking care of a loved one or patient. They feel alone, unsupported, and unappreciated. But today we'll go over some signs and symptoms so you can recognize whether you have burnout. Burnout have physical and emotional signs and symptoms. Here are some physical: body ache and pain, fatigue, frequent headache. Maybe at one point you have headaches maybe once a month. Now you have them 1, 2, maybe even 3 times a week. Increase or decrease in your appetite. Unusual weight change. Weakened immune system, which now leading to more infection, affecting your overall health. Insomnia. Can't sleep at night. Whereas you used to go to bed, had no problem falling asleep, and sleep all through the night. Now, when you get into bed, you tossing and turning, and when you do finally go to sleep, you waking up all during the night. If you have any of these physical symptoms, you may have burnout. Emotional signs and symptoms are less easy to recognize. Therefore, you may not even notice them. A sense of failure and self-doubt. Feeling helpless, trapped, and defeated. Detachment. Feeling like you in this world all alone. A lack of motivation. A decrease in satisfaction and a sense of accomplishment. Things you used to love, you have no interest in. Dreading the end of your off day because you know the next day you gotta go back to work. You really can't enjoy your off day because you constantly thinking about work. These are some of the emotional signs of burnout. And if you're having these, you may be having burnout. As burnout progresses and depression and anxiety increase, a caregiver may use alcohol or drugs, especially stimulants, to try to relieve some of the pain. This can lead to an impairment that will harm the person receiving the care. Researchers have said that caregivers use both prescription drugs and also illegal substance more than non-caregiver. Almost every caregiver will experience burnout. And if it's not addressed, eventually the caregiver will not be able to provide good care. And this is a very dangerous situation. The caregiver should immediately stop providing care and go seek help. Knowing the signs and symptoms of burnout is very important. Therefore, you can catch it early on and do prevention. We want prevention rather than treatment. I will drop a video about the prevention and treatment of burnout. You guys, I want to make sure y'all understand burnout. I don't want y'all to get burnout mixed up with facts. Burnout is a perception, and the perception comes from being around sick people. Being around sick people that help decline, seeing death. After you work around that over a period of time, it begins to affect you. And whereas you used to do long hours, it didn't bother you quite as much. Now it bothers you a lot. Now when Mrs. Smith called 35 times, it bothers you. Whereas before, you kind of giggle and laugh at, oh, look, there go Miss Smith again. Now your patient is you're not quite as patient as you used to be. And that's because you're beginning to get overwhelmed about your environment. So that is burnout. You feel like your supervisor don't care that you're being overworked. You seem like your administrator don't care. This is how you feel. This is your perception. Now, factual, and I have been in a situation where it's facts. It was a fact that my nurse was assigning me the most difficult patient. It was a fact that my supervisor would not address the issue. It was a fact that when I went to my administrator to discuss these issues, he did nothing about it. That's fact. It was not my perception. When it's facts, treatment or prevention is not going to do you any good. If it's burnout, some treatments, you just need to get away from your job. Take a break. Take 2 or 3 months. Come back. Your mind is renewed. Your mind is rested. And when you go back to work, everything is smooth. You feel good. You back to your old self again. But if it's factual, taking a break won't help. You can take a break, come back, and your nurse still assigning you the most difficult patient. Your supervisor don't care. Your administrator will not address these issues. So, you still in the same space. So taking a break is not going to help something factual. A change have to be made. Either your supervisor, your administrator, your nurse need to change, or you need to change and go to another job. So in saying that, I just didn't want you guys to get factual mixed up with burnout. Burnout is more of a perception that nobody cares. You still may be overworked as burnout. I'm not saying that. But due to the overworkedness, the long hours, your patience, it begins to have an effect on you, and you're not as tolerant as you were before, because this environment have taken a toll on you. So I just wanted to clear that up. So now that we got all that cleared up, I want you to subscribe, like, and hit that notification bell because you don't want to miss not one of my videos. Not one. Come on, let's get it started.